Most startup fails.
There's no guarantee that we'll succeed, but there's a guarantee that we'll suffer more.
They built something for a class project and they never continue. Or they get their idea and they make a prototype out of it, but they don't actually pull it to action and sell it as a business. I wanted to try myself. Is it really possible to build startup nowadays and actually succeed? And this is that journey. 6 months ago, just like any other students, I was working on my projects, working on my uni work, and doing my study, and just chilling a bit. And suddenly, from nowhere, my brother called me. He asked me to start a startup project for his university work. And he wanted to continue that project.
And for the app development, the founder has asked me and my brother to develop an app that he had idea for. And I was meant to do the whole backend, which I had no experience whatsoever. So I went to Coursera, learned it, and with the help of ChatGPT, I managed to finish the app. And what I learned from this was that only 2 of us were needed to create a startup app. And second thing was that I could learn anything by myself. So this was the point I thought I could do the startup.
His idea was very simple. Students just tap their student card in the kiosk, and the kiosk exactly tell them when and where the next class is, and from that location they are in, what kind of route they should take to go to the next class. Since it was his university project, he must have had some sort of work that he had done. He built all the code and all the project using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, like really the plain one. Every HTML code and JavaScript code was like in one single file. It was not scalable, it was not maintainable.
Okay, you know what? I was the very first person who wanted to throw everything away from that HTML code.
I had 2 choices by the time, was to start completely over. We decided to use a Godot as a main engine, which does all the software for us. After 2 weeks of suffering, it kinda started working. However, I was totally wrong. My assumption and my strategy and my architecture was completely wrong. At the end, I realized that the architecture has to become really complex, and it kinda went out of my hands.
So, after the assignment was done, 2 of our founding members decided to leave the team. And it was just me, my brother, and Yuchun. And it wasn't enough. That's why we needed Youngsung and Shivang. I love those guys. They're hardworking, they do everything.
I thought, holy shit, what the fuck?
And Kyla, our 3D designer. I needed her because literally none of us knew how to 3D model. And the most important part of our kiosk is the 3D model of the campus.
If you didn't know, coding with single person and coding with multiple people is a whole different story. When you're working with people and if everyone's using AI to code, then it just becomes disaster. So we stopped. We took like a few days off. I had to plan every single ticket so that they exactly know what they're doing. So everyone got their role now, and after that, there was no conflict.
There were a lot of conflicts. Code kept breaking and nothing was working. We had to pull 2 all-nighters back to back. We didn't even know what day it was. We barely made it 10 minutes before the deadline.
6 weeks later, it started working. We showed our project to him, like how much progress we've made. He validated the tech he was surprised and he was satisfied with the technology in it. However, he told us that we've missed everything else. So at that point, we applied to the venture lab. We worked really hard and we actually got in.
It was a very appealing offer, $20,000 with nothing in return. But the reason I rejected the offer is because I wanted to do it on our own. If we take the offer, when I looked into what happens after venture lab, is that they pressure us, give us timeline, deadline, what they want to see, and we would have to follow what they want instead of what we want to build. And that is not what I wanted when I started a startup. I wanted freedom. And when I prayed to God about it, He told me not to take the offer, since if I win without taking their offer, it would prove to the world that God helped me instead of I did it on my own.
We also had exams, also had club events, also had other projects going on. We just had to focus so deep that we zone out until 2 a.m., wake up at 6 a.m., start coding again.
The most important thing I learned was that with discipline and not giving up, you can achieve any product with the help of AI, of course. But that doesn't mean it will go to success.
This is what we built. So can university students build a startup? Yeah, we did it, but it's not about the tech stack or the business model. It's about being stubborn enough to start over when it's wrong, smart enough to ask for help, and crazy enough to believe that you can do it in 6 months. For us, this is just the beginning.